Greetings, adventurers. This is DM Kurt, and this is Halloween. So, uh, the other day I was on Big Geek Emporium. Now, Big Geek Emporium, link down below, is like Drive Thru RPG, except it's a small independent outfit, and they take a smaller cut of the price of the PDFs, the games, etc., for themselves. So, a larger percentage goes to the actual writers, developers, artists. So that's a good thing, right? Well, being small, they have a small selection so far. It seems to be growing as we speak. And I picked up a couple of PDFs. Now, they were not expensive. I got a handful of minions and for a few minions more. Oh, I sense a theme there. I sense a Western title theme situation. One was 9 pages, the other was 7 pages. The first one was $1, and it was marked down to 35 cents. The second one was $1 and not yet marked down at the time of purchase. So, what this was. The original one was September. Oozes and slimes. Okay? 10 different oozes and slimes statted out for your basic old school kind of game where there's just a handful of stats and here's the appearance of the creature and here's some special attack it does. The second one for the month of October, undead. So minions number 11 through 20 is undead. And I'll give you an example. Minion number 11, zombies. Armor class 8, so we're going with descending armor class for your basic 1E, 2E descending armor class. Hit dice 1d8. THAC0's not given, so it's just assume that creature of equal hit die. You can already calculate that out. Move 5 inches. I'm seeing a lot of 5, 10, and 15-inch movement rates for these creatures. Zombies, 5-inch, that's slow. You may adjust that if your movement system for your game is a little different. It tends to be in 6s and 12s. One attack, damage by weapon type. It's a zombie. It hits you with a sword, or hits you with an axe, hits you with a blunt instrument, whatever. Experience point value. Notes: zombies are immune to fear, charm, and intimidation. Yup. Appearance: any living creature can be turned into a zombie. Boom. Short description. He manages to fit 10 monsters onto 3 sheets of paper. And the only reason it takes that much, it would have been done on 2, but the mummy and the vampire have a lot of special notes attached to them. Now, what does he do other than give you 10 monsters? Because, I mean, really, several of these monsters are going to be already listed in your whatever monster compendium, monster manual comes with your game. Many of them will. Maybe not all 10. Well, he also adds, recently it has been suggested that when the Game Master rolls a natural 20 against a player character, they no longer get to do double damage as they have done in the past. This idea caused quite a bit of controversy. I mean this directly. But it got me thinking, is doing double damage on a critical hit really that much of a big thing? What if, instead of doing double damage, the Game Master got to do something far worse? Bolded, I like that. When they rolled a natural 20. With that in mind, I present 20 things the undead could do to the player characters that are worse than double damage. On a natural damage, the undead does its normal damage to its opponent, and then he has 20 different ideas. Sure. They're 20. I could roll d20, or I could just pick. Great. Let's say I decide to roll, and I roll a 12. On a natural 20, the undead does its normal damage to its opponent and covers the character in a necrotic goo that reduces their movement to 0. Ew. On a natural 20, the undead does its normal damage and an additional 1d4 points of bleed damage, which is described on another page. Well, described below. On a natural 20, the undead does its normal damage to its opponent, and the victim is paralyzed for 1d4 rounds. So he's giving you some ideas. You could pick one that's appropriate to that monster type, or you could roll randomly if you can't decide because you have a little indecision or just want to just go for it and see what fate decides. Some of the ideas were necrotic fever, which you're losing constitution points, and if you go to 0 con, you die and then rise as a ghoul. A cure disease spell will end the necrotic fever. Bleed damage, you're just continually bleeding until you bleed out. A rotting plague, which is a con save versus disease, and necrotic damage, charisma loss because you just are covered in disease and you look all nasty. Energy drain, which is exhaustion and reduction in hit points and disadvantage to d20 rolls for until you take an 8-hour rest. I mean, there's some ideas here. Now, what's interesting about what I like about this is, so I could print this out as I did, and I could 3-hole punch it, and I could put it under U for undead, the one with the slimes and the molds and the oozes. Staple that together, 3-hole punch it, throw it in a binder under S for slime or O for ooze. Okay? $1.35 for 20 monsters, you know? And I have the feeling that he's going to do like goblins or kobolds or something next. And we'll see. We'll see. That's just a guess. I don't know. Is it worth that money? That's not a lot of money. I can take the dog for a walk and pick up enough beer cans on the side of the road to get $1.35 worth by the time I make the full loop. Okay? That's nothing. You can't get a soda at the local gas station down the road for $1.35. And I got 20 monsters for a game. If I already have those monsters, I think that D20 table or select from 20 idea for things you can do for crits that are appropriate to that monster type, I think that has some kind of value. And I know that the guy who actually wrote it is going to get the money that's coming from me to, you know, into this website, you know, $1.35, you know. What's that? That's nothing. Now this site also has, you know, full-fledged games, you know. We're talking 200, 300 page things, but I'm just grabbing a couple of PDFs because why not? And another thing, he's probably going to spend that on cat food for this cute little kitten. Cool, you know. Or medicine for the older cat. Dude's a good dude, and you know what? I'm happy to help out other people, especially when they're good people that do good things. But there it is. That's my review. I find this to be worth the cost and potentially useful. I'm running a 2E and a 5E game right now. Am I going to use those monster stats? No, because I already have my own set of stats. But those tables of critical effects, sure. I think I'll probably at least consider using them for critical effects. So, anyway, that's my short review. I give it a thumbs up. DM Kurt, out.